This is priceless. If people are connected like this, you wouldn't feel lonely. This is a great thing, not feeling lonely, because this is what happens when you are lonely. Then you come to think that I have helped those creatures today, but this one I didn't. And then you dive and you're dragged down and stuff like this. But if you're connected to somebody else and they try to share your burden and tell you that, okay, but this one that you didn't help maybe showed you the way how to help the next one. By helping others, we're helping ourselves, and by helping others and making others happy, whatever the species, makes us happier, even happier. And this is happiness, and this is love.
For nature.
For the ocean.
For people.
For animals.
Hello, dear lovely SANUSPLANET community. It's amazing that you're here again today at this beautiful podcast, episode 885 today. This is amazing. We're really happy to have so many beautiful people here in this podcast. And again today, such a wonderful person I was allowed to talk to a half an hour now already. Such an amazing guest that we have today again, Martha Athanassiou. And Martha, first of all, welcome, Martha. Thank you so much for taking yourself the time to be in this podcast, to share your story, to share the work you're doing for animals. Today we talk about animals, animal rights, animal protection. And thank you so much for your time. And shortly, that everybody understands who is sitting here, who am I talking to? Martha is the co-founder of the organization S.C.A.R.S. S.C.A.R.S stands for Second Chance Animal Rescue Society, and it's an organization from Greece. And this is an organization, one of the last ones that we started to support as well with SANUSPLANET. So everyone who is listening today, this is a person who is really working so hard and so much for animal rights and supporting animals in every way. You will learn a lot today. I am pretty sure you will hear many new points of views on animal rights. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Martha, for being here and for giving us the time. Thanks. Welcome in the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you. Thank you.
I feel very honored to have you here. So thank you. And we had a talk before we started this podcast, and you said something that was really interesting to me. You said, I asked you what you're doing, if you can share a little bit who you are. So in the end, now Martha will share a little bit who she is and what she's doing. But one thing what I want to mention that you said before, you said to care for animals is not a hobby. It's something else for you. Yes. Can you also go into that? Can you share a little bit who you are, what you do, and why you said that to care for animals is not just a hobby for you? That would be great.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Martha. I'm 54 years old. I've been dealing with scars for about 10 years, and I am an English teacher, and of course, it's not caring for animals is not a hobby for me because it's a way of life. It's actually my life and my family's life. And when I refer to my family, I mean the S.C.A.R.S family now, because this is the way we live and this is the way we become happy. We experience ultimate happiness, having one member of our big family saved, or being happy or embraced with love. And this can't be a hobby because it's not the way we're like listening to music or reading a book or dealing with sports and stuff like this. It's dealing with some, let's say, stray or lost member of our family, and our family consists of two-legged people, of two-legged creatures in Greek, or four-legged creatures, or three-legged for us because we deal with the handicapped animals here, actually. And of course, it can be a hobby. It's the way to make our journey here through life worth it. And it makes us happy and feel humans, like our name.
So amazing. Yeah. Yeah, your name says Second Chance Animal Rescue Society. So in the end, you give animals a second chance. That means you are rescuing animals from the streets, or you care a lot for animals who are disabled. How does this how do you, first of all, how does this even start? How do you find these animals? How do you know where these animals are that really need help? Do you find them everywhere because the streets are so full of animals? How can people here who are listening to the podcast imagine your work?
Well, the reality in Greece is that we have more than 3 or 4 million strays. And if we consider that people in Greece are double, even if two people would take care of one animal, there wouldn't have been any kind of problem. But people in Greece are sadly not interested in doing this. So the authorities also are not that capable of dealing with strays. And so everything comes to us volunteers. So we come across various incidents and situation every now and then, every minute. Even if we go for a beer and we say we don't look left or right, we will come across an incident. We will come across an abandoned animal because their owner was a hunter and the tool got old or got sick, so they abandoned it. I'm sorry if I'm talking like this about Greece, okay? But this is the plain truth, and I really need to share it with you. They abandoned it in places like rivers, mountains, and stuff like this. And if they don't have the time, they just open the door of the car and they just do this. And then we get them in semi-dead or coma situation, or they run over cats because cats are being blinded by the light and the traffic and everything. And then when they run over a cat, they don't act as if it's being with soul and stuff like this, and they abandon the cat and they go and have their drink and beer and party and stuff like this. And I know I'm too mean. This is the truth. And then we are the next ones to come across this incident, and then we try to stop, and then we try to get the cat and to force herself to get her to a hospital, if a hospital exists 24 hours a day for strays or animals. And if we can afford this, of course, we are doing it, either we can afford it or not. But we come across animals in the worst situation possible every time, always, like always. And even like this time we're talking, I have come here and I have come across like a sick cat that I got to get back and try to trap her and get her to the doctor because she's sick, because she's been outside the house and maybe she's being fed and stuff like this. But this is as far as it goes. She's not neutered and she's not getting any medication, because this is what they do. People that care about animals sometimes do this. They feed the wrong stuff, and this is pretty much it. If they get sick, they don't do anything else. So we come across blind animals, three-legged animals, animals with no tails. The greater story has to do with, sorry, I have to say this about the blind animals that are, it's a devastating thing to see, like a cat who can't see and stuff like this. But then again, if you get to treat this animal, you realize that has no eyes but can see through your soul. And you know, actually the only disability is indifference, not their disability and stuff like this. But yeah, asking me this, we come across incidents and animals all the time, like all the time.
Sounds really also frustrating to be all the time witnessing as well what happens to these animals and how people treat them or not treat them. And I think that we were talking before a little bit. I think that many people who don't really have to care for an animal and really care for it, not just feed it a little bit, but really care when it really needs help. I think that many people are not, they don't really, they can't understand what it means when you really care for an animal for long term, whatever happens. And I think that is something we all have to get into. We all have to start to see that these animals, they have the same soul as we have. They have the same love. They feel the same way. They give even so much back. And we are allowed to receive this love from them. So let's give them something back.
Exactly. And not only do they have souls, but they're brighter than ours, I should say. And I should also say that when started this thing, I was a way worse person, and they make you a better person, and you get back more than you give. And if you just open up, even if you don't have to deal with animals, you were never taught, there was no education, nothing, and you come across one and you uh, look at each other and maybe deal with whatever way possible you can come up. But if you open up, you will see that you get more than you would give, that the communication is way better, that they teach you so many life lessons,
Yeah.
and that they make you a way better person. Like this, so actually, it's not like helping them; they're helping us, and we should be with them all the time. Okay, this don't take these guys from me because I'm dealing with animals, and I'd rather be with animals instead of people. But I'm not
Yeah,
that.
I get you. I
I'm
get
not
you.
all. But yeah, they've given me so much, and maybe I'm right here and maybe I'm around because of them. It's not that they're around only because of me and because I have helped them with my family, S.C.A.R.S family, and stuff like this. Maybe I'm here because of them.
How
Those,
did you even get into helping these animals? I mean, have you been born as an animal lover and you always cared already for animals? Or have there been a moment in your life that changed you, that when you saw, whoa, I have to do more, I have to give back, I want to care for these animals? How did that start for you personally?
well, as far as I remember myself, I would care for animals. I would care for little birds. I would care for dogs and cats, and I would secretly get inside my house little kitties or dogs or as a rescuer, but I wasn't doing the right thing because I did not know how to do this. And I have been I have been raised by myself, but I have been raised in a family where my father was a hunter. He's still around, but he's no longer a hunter, and he would use dogs as tools. My mother would love animals, but she was under his authorities, let's say. So my personal status was a bit unstable. So I was secretly trying to help animals, and this wouldn't go that far until the moment I grew up and I became more responsible to be doing this. But then again, I was working on my own, and as we know, it takes money and time. And if you're on your own in a family that is like this, or in a neighborhood or country that is like this country that is sadly like not in such a good situation, it's not a very easy thing to do. But then it was 10 years ago when I found a blind kitty, and I tried to rescue her because she had been taken to the vet to be put to sleep. And I was like, I won't use a bad word. What the heck? We're going to try. And I tried to rescue her with the vet. And then I started seeking help. And then I came across S.C.A.R.S and they helped me. And then I said that, okay, I belong with those people and I got to help them back and join them. And ever since I joined them and we're in the same path. And I'm very happy. I'm repeating myself, referring to them as family, but they are family because they're like not only the same path. We love each other, we fight with each other, and then we get back together. But we're crazy the same way because people call us crazy, the crazy women or guys with cats and stuff like this. So we're the good crazy ones at one farm. And we have the strength and the power, and we're empowered by organs like you and people like you, because we're in the same path with you too, to be able to be helping more and more. But this was pretty much my story. I don't want to say more to, focus on me and the drama, the personal drama. There is actually a lot of story if you want me to tell you about the hunting issues of Greece, but this hasn't got to do with S.C.A.R.S, it has to do with Martha.
Yeah, but we are interested in Martha too, like it's both very interesting, because I think always when we help organizations, when we want to donate some money, we also want to know the people behind, not just the organization and the beautiful work they're doing, but also the people behind, because they are creating the foundation and the organization in the end. So it's really important to understand and to see the people as well. So that's why I'm very happy, and I think that the whole community who's listening today, they are happy to understand who is this Martha, who is also working with SCARS, and how can we support more. And by the way, I want to say in this moment to everyone who's listening today to this podcast, we create this project with the SANUS app that everybody has a win-win situation. It's for everyone. At the same time, I know as well that we have many people, and we will have even more people who now will be financially easier doing. So everybody is welcome to support, and you can support whoever you want to support, of course. And but I want to let you see that there are so many beautiful people who do such an incredible work, like Martha and like the organization SCARS in general. So if you want to support there, you can help them. You can donate a little bit. We will go into that topic later, that you can share us what people can do to help you a little bit in different ways. There's not just donating possibilities. There are other options, I think, too. But let's first still focus a little bit on Martha. You said there was a lot of drama, especially as well with the hunting thing. I mean, the hunting thing happens here in my hometown too. I see also, I have my own dog. When someone is shooting somewhere, my dog is crazy afraid. He runs back home and I feel his pain. And every time when someone shoots, even if my dog is not with me, I feel his pain. Even though I'm far away from him, I feel it.
You feel
Do
it
you
because
think?
it's that strong, and you can feel it because you communicate. You're
Yes.
connected
Yeah.
to. So,
Yeah.
sorry, what was your question?
My question was, do you think, because you said for someone who grew up in a family or in a country that is not so much caring for the animals' rights, do you think that, how do you see that I think that people, especially kids, children, they are much more connected to the animals, but then we put them somehow into a society and how it should be, and then they lose the connection. Do you think that's true?
It's more than true. It's more than true, but there's hope to that, because I'll talk to you with an example with three kids actually that I had been teaching, and when I first got with the first one, who's now 16 or 17 years old, he was like 6 or 7. And I went for the first time to teach him, and he was like, you know what? My mom told me not to be close to you because you have animals. And so I'll have to listen to what you're saying from tiny distance. I said, okay, if your mama says that, do what your mama says. And then next day he was like next to me, and then the distance became no distance and stuff at all. And now this family have adopted 2 stray dogs, 2 stray cats. They hate English, actually, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But they were like, we had a composition to write, and we will write about you, Martha, and not about our grandmother, because she's bad with animals and us. And they were like this, and I was, kids, no, you should write a composition about your grandmother because this is what you have been at. No, we're family too, and we want to be like you and take care of animals. And from 0 animals and finding hair animals disgusting, they came up to be adopters of 4 X-rays. And so there's hope. But they were raised as kids that weren't afraid of the animals, and then they were like, no, eat your food, because otherwise the dog will eat your food. We have such sayings in Greece. And that the cat will scratch you. Any harm that could actually occur comes from the animals, and this is how we have solved all the problems as a humanity and stuff like this. But yeah, this is what they do. Animals, kids with animals, they got this channel, then they lose it when they try to experiment at the age of about 5 or something, because you have to help them there connect, help them be gentle to the animals, because animals can always comprehend and stuff like this. And then they even proceed more to communicate with them. This is what has happened to my daughter. She has been raised with animals, and she can talk to them and be talked back. And this is the way she wants to proceed to her life and stuff like this. But most children, and as my daughter was going to school, she had been laughed at because she was the crazy girl with the cats following her and the dogs following her. And
this is so crazy, as I think like this, when I see kids with animals and how they interact with animals and how the connection, how strong it is, I nearly sometimes have to cry because it's so beautiful to watch. And
Yes.
I think it's so sad when people take this away from the animals and from their kids, this pure and big and beautiful love for each other, and people just rip it away because they think, oh, this is not how we want it, or this is not how we see it, or whatever they think. They take it away. And I think this is so sad, because this is, I think, if I go deep in my heart, exactly this connection to the animals, to nature, to the trees, to the plants. This connection is the connection to ourselves that we lost so deeply, that we really need so much to get back on track. Because we are lost at the moment as humanity. We need to get back on track. And this is one of the most amazing ways to get there, to connect again.
I would maybe some people would dislike me for what I'm about to say, but I also think that this connection is our connection with God, or whatever the name is.
Mhm. Yeah.
God actually can't have different names, and the connection with him, her, or whatever this
Yeah.
being is right there with
Yeah.
nature, animals, and instead of going to churches. If you want to go to church, but on your way, help somebody.
Yes, exactly.
Help
I'm
somebody
so
because
with
it will
you.
make you happy, not because, you have to. You don't have to. You have to want to, because you get happy with their happiness, because this is the ultimate happiness. Giving happiness to somebody else, this is the way you get happy too. And this is how I've been through a lot, like a lot of people, maybe you, but I'm really a very happy person because of that, and a very sad person when this fails
Yeah.
and stuff like this. But it's so stupid not realizing this, not opening up. You don't need to be clever, you don't need to be educated or anything. You just need to open up and look somebody right in the eye,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
your eyes, with your heart, with whatever you got.
Yeah.
What blind cuts teach, and it makes it so worth it. It makes it such a miracle. I wasn't familiar with it. I found out during the last 10 years, actually, with S.C.A.R.S. They're miracle creatures, all of them, but
Mhm. So beautiful.
that's
I love what you just said, and I don't want to point finger on anyone or any belief system or something, but I totally agree with you. I feel that so many times. I see so many people that I know talking about going to church. Go to church, really. I say as well, go there. If you feel they're good, do that. But if you are then coming out from church and you don't live what you are praying there and preaching and whatever, if you don't live it, then forget the church thing. It doesn't help us if you don't live it. You have to live it, otherwise it's for nothing. So we really need to start doing what and acting on what we are talking about, otherwise it's hypocrite. It's like we really have to get there.
I got a trauma, I live close to a church, and I've seen so many people on their way to church kicking dogs and hurting cats and stuff like this. And then they go to church, and then they're trying to lecture us what to do and what's right to do and what's wrong to do. And I'm like, maybe I'm overreacting because I've been seeing this for 54 years now,
Yeah.
and
No, I
things
think
don't.
I am very much, I would subscribe. I mean, I'm completely on your side. I see that too. I feel that too. And yeah, I think it's like not even a matter of church or not church, God or not God. And like you said, it doesn't matter how we call what is there, but it's a matter of if we live what we believe is there. If we live it, it doesn't matter how you call it, but you live it, because then it's you. It's you. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah. Hey, let's go a bit into S.C.A.R.S. What exactly does S.C.A.R.S stand for? So you rescue and help animals, abandoned animals, street animals, animals with disabilities, but you also you bring them. What are you doing for them? You bring them to foster homes. You keep them for in your own home. And how does that work?
First thing is that we take them out of the streets. We sadly have to put as a priority the disabled ones. But yet again, we don't say no to anybody in need, and we try to rescue everyone. We don't have a catering or a place or a shelter to take them, so our homes are full, even in bathrooms, in our beds and everything. We use our homes as foster places. This is where we care for them. They go through treatment. They go through, let's say, forgive humans in a way and get friendly and get affectionate, because this is what they really are. They all are affectionate, and maybe sometimes they have lost it on the way. And when they're ready to enter the home of the heart of somebody who completely falls in love with them, they go to their forever home. But in the meantime, they live with us, and they practice their life in a family. We work for them 24/7. We sometimes rush them to hospitals in weekends at night, or we have learned how to do such stuff on our own when need be. Medication, we give medication, we give pills, we hug them, we do everything that has to do with mental and biological health to help them recover their trauma, either if this is biological or mental. Then we neuter. We go to areas where colonies of mainly cats, but dogs too exist, and then we do the TNR project, TNR. We trap, we neuter, and we return them to their colonies, and then we take care of them. We feed them with decent food, not fish bones and stuff and pasta and beans like they sometimes do. And we observe those colonies, and if something happens to one of those animals, we take the animal back, and we have the animal hospitalized or foster until the health is back on track and the animal has healed. We try to do, in long story short, we try to do what we country should, to create a world nicer for them, not having them starve, not having them sick, not having them reproduce with no control, and then giving birth after birth, and then dying on the streets, and then the babies are being run over by cars, and then you come across this image every time, and we help them live the best way possible. And as much as possible, we try to find the perfect place for them, not causing pity, like please give them a home because they're blind or handicapped and stuff like this, but because somebody loves them as much. We don't give animals to homes that easy.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We do some events to make a bit of money to cover their expenses at vets, and to be feeding them, and to be having the expenses for their deworming pills inside and out, because there's too many expenses. So we try to do everything possible to make their lives easier.
Amazing. This is so beautiful. And I think that you do in the end, you use, that's what I can imagine. You use a lot of your own money to do that as well, because it costs a lot of money to do that.
We've got some donations, and we've got people that help us, but of course we'll use our own money. I mean, if I have, I have been fostering like let's say about 20 S.C.A.R.S cats right now. And if I want to give them their pills, I will go buy some chicken. I can do this because maybe I come up with a bit of money one day or the other. Of course, the S.C.A.R.S family tries to cover, and they cover the basic expenses, and the food and medication and everything. But of course, every and each one of us tries for the very best for them, and of course, we would give from our own money too.
Yeah.
And we never have second thoughts about that. You know what I was thinking? I was reading the numbers today, and I was thinking that we are about 10 million people in Greece. 4 million the animals. It wouldn't have been that easy if each one thing, I wouldn't have ended up with 20 animals and another 100 be feeding around. This is what happens to all the family of S.C.A.R.S. It's not only me. Everyone is doing this.
Yeah.
There was the president of S.C.A.R.S today. She was talking to schools. She's going to schools and she's educating. She's trying to do what parents don't do. Getting from our fosters to show them that they're friendly, to show them that they're you have nothing to be afraid of, and to teach them. She's like, she went straight from work to some school, and she's going to do it once again and again to try to educate them the best way possible. I have to.
Yeah, yeah, drink a zip, that's important. This is that's where I see so much, like that's what I love, when people really do what they can, but everything they can to help these animals. It shows me how big your heart is. At the same time, it makes me a bit sad that the system around is not supportive enough, that you don't have to fight to get through the month to pay what you have to pay to help the ones that need help. It's the system is so wrong around it. And
Yeah.
that's where I really hope that we, and not just hope, that's what we work so hard for, to help as much as possible, that the system is changing, because this is not possible that people who have such a big heart, they have to kind of give until their last t-shirt, and then they are kind of empty in the end at some point, because there's nothing left. And you have all the time to work on, oh, how can I get through the month? And it's a mental health problem for activists, where they
Because you
come
can't help
into
after all. But when you run out of money, you can't help. And when you see somebody in need and you can't help, this is the main thing for you, for
Yeah.
us, for you and us, and people like us, that you won't be able to help. Like when I was thinking about stuff, my daughter works, I've been working and trying to do my thing. And yet again, if something happens to us, I've been thinking that, will I have enough time to make everything right for them?
Mm.
Will they starve and stuff like this, or will I be able to give them their pills inside the chicken and stuff? It's not like spoiling. It's like, I mean, this grandpa that I've been fostering for a week, he really hasn't even tasted chicken before. He was like, it's a miracle and stuff like that. And again, it's just pills in there. And then you become empty, literally and metaphorically, because you can't help them. And this is, you're desperate if you can't help. Like now, we can't afford to have more fosters in our homes. We're full.
Yeah.
And there's animals out, and we're like, what are we going to do? Because then again, it's going to be more dangerous for them to get in with
Yeah.
so many others.
Yeah. So then we can come back to the point what I mentioned before. There might be other possibilities how people can help you, people who sit here and listen to this today, how they can help you besides donating. Donating is one of the big things that helps, definitely. But what else can people do? Can they write you and say, hey, I would really love to adopt or to foster or to volunteer or something like that? Are there possibilities that people can help, even different than sending money and donate?
Actually, there's the ultimate purpose for us is to go to our page and try to see if an animal is if they fall in love with an animal or stuff like this. Also, it's not only donations, it has to do with supplies that we might come up to be needing, like blankets, simple stuff that are very easy for somebody to, let's say, have or get, like kitten milk, like meds. They can come up with what meds could you probably need for your fosters or for your strays, or there's equipment that we also use. It doesn't only have to do with donations. It has to do with adoptions. It has to do with let's say volunteer, of course, is a very big deal, but you have to be in Greece, and I don't know how this could be feasible. But if they come here and they want to pay a visit and see the situation and spread the message or what has been happening here, and maybe fall in love with an animal and stuff like this, we could, we could proceed. But the way that they could help is by learning what we need, what one welfare like us would need. And this is the equipment, actually. But the main thing through countries, sadly, it's the donation thing or the equipment thing. We always run out of diapers, blankets, bowls, pills, cut trees, cut beds, because there's so many that are destroying them, and we can't, have to replace them every now and then. Or if we foster sick animals, we can't reuse them for the next ones because they have to be clean. So we have to use new ones, and this might seem cheap for somebody who's having one or two animals, but for us, having to deal with hundreds,
Mhm.
it's a big amount of money. And food, of course. They could also send food
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
special food or wet foods because some animals that have no teeth or have issues, they need special food with many calories. There's food that you can give to one starving animal and help them recover their weight.
Mhm.
Special weight food, there's a huge endless catalog, and I don't want to be exhausting to people that can hear us right now. But there's many way of helping us, and all they have to do is just, contact us, and we
Yeah.
would be glad to tell them whatever, for the sake of the animals. I feel awkward now asking for help because never been.
No, this is the place for where you are definitely
I
allowed to. And
know, I
I
know.
will ask for it. And I ask everyone who's listening today, if you feel like this is something I want to help, then please do. Don't hesitate, just do. And you find a way. We will put the link to the page, to SCAR's page in the show notes. You can find all the information there. Check it out, go on the page, read about it, and you will definitely find out how you want and can help. Hey, do you want to share do you have a story with an animal which touched your heart in an emotional, beautiful? I mean, I know you have many stories. I'm pretty sure about that. But is there maybe some story, a beautiful one that you want to share with us? Maybe something where an animal, you didn't believe that this animal will be helped or that it will survive, and then in the end something happened, or something that touched you very much, where you really, really like just happy, like a happy story?
Yeah, okay. Uh, you changed the mood of my energy because as I told you, I'm a bit skeptical as a person, and I was about to tell you another story, a drama story, but no, I won't do this. I will tell you the story of Caramel. Caramel was uh, Caramel was a boy almost dying,
Mhm.
and he was found in the middle of the street and by Rena, by our volunteer Rena, and the vice president of S.C.A.R.S, and she took the kitty to the vet, and they said that if leaves until Monday, uh, we can proceed with the healing thing and stuff like this. And she brought it to me in a coma. So I had to give him, and I was like, Rena, you know that he's come here to empty to complete the circle and stuff like this. So long story short, because I want to share another very important story with you, was that this guy was about to die, and he flourished, he survived, and he's now seeking for a forever home. You wouldn't have believed that he made it because he was really dying. He was getting serum every 30 minutes. I know how to do this. And then every treatment possible with the SCAR support, and he survived. And I could not believe this because I thought that he was surely dying. And there was another story of Ruby. Ruby was run over by a car, and she was an adult cat. She wasn't a kitty like Caramello. Her brain was damaged, her mouth was damaged, so she had to be fed with the special way through the nose for several months. And then she came to my foster house, and I had to teach her right from the beginning how to eat, how to pee. I had to scratch the sand with my nails to help her realize everything because she was an adult cat with in the mind of a baby. She had also been raped. So she had she didn't have babies, but she had some kind of an abortion. Oh no, she lost the babies actually. Um, and then there was a magic day. There was no progress or anything. And then it was a magic day when she just started eating chicken on her own. And then she started over again rapidly. And although blind and with the mind of a baby, she catched up. And now she's at her forever home when she's like 5 years old or something. She has been climbing everywhere because she wasn't even walking. She wasn't doing anything, and she's a miracle. And if these creatures aren't miracles, then what is?
Exactly.
Really, what is?
So nice.
These
So
stories,
beautiful.
ask me more because I won't leave. I have lots of them.
Yeah, that's the thing. I imagine that you have so many stories, and I can imagine so many beautiful, but also so many tragic ones. And
Yeah,
I wanted
let's
to
not
hear.
talk about the tragic ones. Let's because I'm the drama queen person. I shouldn't do this to you and your people and to our people too.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I think that I wanted to share here, or I wanted to let you explain a beautiful one. It's always good for ourselves to remind these beautiful stories and to repeat them and to see that there's always good ones as well. But never forget the drama stories neither, like, because sometimes they drive us to do more for the animals. So,
exactly.
but then there is a fine line, right? We were talking before the podcast, and everybody who's listening today all of those who are active for, especially for animal and human rights, you might know these situations, but there is a fine line between acting as much as you can and feeling like you can't change much because you're scratching on the surface. You help a few animals, but at the same time, so many are not helped because you can't help everyone, and there are not enough people who do that. And then you feel lost and you feel like you can't go on with it and you might lose it. And there's a fine line between going on and between losing it. And I think that this is one of the most important things that we can do as well with this podcast, to share how many beautiful people are out there doing so much, as much as they can. And let's create a network of people who are caring as much as possible so that people know they are not alone. That is a big topic of this podcast as well. Do you have, I can imagine, especially with the S.C.A.R.S people, you have a bit of this network, but would you wish a bigger network like that? I mean, sure, I think that might be always good to have many more people around, right? Meeting each
Of course,
other.
this is a big deal. This is a
Yeah.
very big deal. This is priceless. If people are connected like this, this is a big thing. This is why I was like stunned as how you wouldn't feel lonely. This is a great thing, not feeling lonely, because this is what happens when when you are lonely, even for 5 minutes. Then you come to think that I have helped those creatures today, but this one I didn't. And then you dive and you're dragged down and stuff like this. But if you're connected to somebody else and they try to share your burden and tell you that, okay, but this one that you didn't help maybe showed you the way how to help the next one, or the one that didn't make it.
Yeah.
Because the stories like this, one of some didn't make it and then help their siblings make it, because you went faster to a diagnosis. It has happened too. It has to do with my tattoo. This one died and saved his brother. So yeah, it's a big deal being connected, and it's priceless. And take it from a skeptical person like me. And now I'm crazy with this. You've got such a good energy that can't be anything but this, being connected and create a better world. And yeah.
Well, this makes me really happy to also again say that I'm very happy that we are allowed to support you and that we can help and create a network here as well together and reaching more people together, because it is a together. We can just change this world by being together, coming together, being a network, and helping and looking out for each other, for the animals and for the people. And I'm really thankful. Is there something that you still want to share with us in this podcast today that I didn't ask, or something that is important to you that you want to share with the community?
There's too much stuff I would like to say, but I can't pick. I'm like a bit confused right now. Just I will repeat myself and say that people like us that are in the same path and we're trying for a better world, by helping others, we're helping ourselves, and by helping others and making others happy, whatever the species, makes us happier. Even happier. And this is happiness and this is love, not just caring for us. And I think that this is enough.
I love it. Thank you so much for your beautiful.
Thank you so much to love you guys. Thank you for existing, and thank you for coming across us, and it's priceless. And thanks for listening to me.
Yeah, I mean, every word is worth listening. Every word was worth listening. And I'm pretty sure that we will hear more from you, because we will definitely talk more times about S.C.A.R.S and all the beautiful stories that you have to share, and about how people can help. Thanks also to the whole community, to everyone out there who was listening today. Thanks for being part of this. See or hear you in 2 weeks again at the next podcast. Thanks to everybody for listening. Bye, guys. Bye, Martha. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you so much.